Yeah, we actually they came to me with this design last year, the deer camp design, and we actually worked out a deal with them, and we threw them on hats this year. We're selling them at all the shows, selling them on our website, so check them out. Got these guys to thank for that one.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Deer Shop Podcast, presented by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky John Boat Company.
Your track job was the first fun track job.
Oh, that was the best.
That kind of like, I think part of my life was influenced by that night.
Looking back on it, my biggest regret was opening day. I knew where it needed to be. I should have just done a simple hanging bank off the corner of that field, and he would have been toast. But I didn't.
That was our first public land deer hunting trip, and it went extremely well. 5 years ago, we couldn't shoot a deer at 100 yards with a slug gun. Now you're shooting turkeys at 100 yards with a shotgun.
It was a 90-yard shot pass through.
And then you miss him 3 times with a rifle at 70 yards on video for the whole world to see.
That's what Caleb did.
This is the first buck I've shot in over 10 years. And, not to get too crazy emotional about it, but like
10 years, no buck. All right, guys, Deer Shop Podcast. Episode unknown. This is either going to be 55, 56, 57, somewhere in that range. It'll be coming to you guys mid-August. This is going to be kind of the first part of our heavy whitetail content for the fall. We've been kind of skipping around doing some other stuff on the podcast lately, but it's time to really start talking deer, start talking hunting, filming. We got some food plotters coming on, some habitat guys coming on. Private land guys, public land guys, good mixture coming, but it's time to just hammer the whitetails. I know everyone's itching, and we got a pretty fun guest today, Brennen Nading from the Breaking Point TV. He's I'd say they're probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite YouTube channels, if not my favorite, just because it's relatable. We'll definitely get into talking about this later, but a lot of hunting stuff these days is churched up. It's PC. They cut stuff out. They don't show how it really is. And those guys over there at the Breaking Point TV, they're kind of leading the way on just doing it the way they want to do and not caring what anybody else says. But Brennan, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing? I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Oh, we're doing good. We're sweating.
We're hot.
We're dying.
Yeah.
It's hot here in
90
Ohio.
degrees here in Ohio. I don't know. Where are you currently sitting? What state?
I am in Dubuque, Iowa, in the basement with the AC cranked, hence the hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, is it just as hot there as it is here?
It got must have been up in the upper 80s today. I think 88. It's been hot here for probably the last week and a half, but nothing too crazy. We've been pretty fortunate actually this summer. It seems like usually we'll have 2 weeks of 100-degree temps, and we haven't this year. There's been, a couple days where it got in the 90s, but then it kind of gets back down in the 80s, and it can't complain. I think the rest of this week's supposed to be in the upper 70s. So
that's kind of how we're rolling. It's been upper 80s for at least 2 months now, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've only had 1 or 2 good rainstorms in that time period. Somehow the crops are all still growing, so I don't know how that works, all the GMOs and all that shit. But so all the crops look good around here, but we haven't had rain at all.
Yeah, been exact opposite for us. The rain won't stop. It has here. I'm on the east side of the state now, and a little further north than what I used to be, and it's pretty crazy the difference in temperatures. Because I know Mike and Ross and those guys they're more south, and they've been complaining about the heat pretty good, but the rain has been nonstop. They got, I think, another 8 inches of rain the other day. They've been struggling to get plots in because it's too wet, and you guys are begging for it.
So. On a yearly basis, it seems like usually that's our problem, but this year it's just been completely opposite.
It seems flip-flop. You guys are usually rain and we're dry, and this year it's the opposite. So,
yeah, have you done much hunting in Ohio?
I have never hunted in Ohio. We had a couple guys that used to film for the show. They went out to Ohio. This must have been like season 6 or 7 maybe. They just went out there, public land, and believe it or not, they pulled up to some piece of public that they scouted on Onyx, got out of the truck, and they didn't make it 300 yards, and a nice buck, probably 140-inch buck, stood up, locked on a doe, and he shot it 300 yards from the truck first time he ever went there.
Wow, there's going to be some people listening to that. They're like, what the fuck?
Well, I think the other guy that was filming them, he had a tag also, and I think then they got the true experience. They hunted for 5 or 6 more days and got their ass beat. So.
Yeah, public land here in Ohio is tough. It's crowded. It's real minimal.
Yeah.
It used to be, you go back 15 years, public land in Ohio was awesome. It was like the Wild West. There was huge bucks, and there wasn't that many hunters. But, man, now, especially with the YouTube boom, and we have a lot of Amish. I don't know if there's any Amish out in your area, Iowa.
Not so much Iowa, but where I grew up in Wisconsin, the Amish it's pretty wild.
Yeah, they rule the roost around here. They'll show up with a van of 15 of them during gun season, and you can mark that property off.
Yeah.
Yep.
It gets a little bit crazy. But like I said in the intro, you guys, we've always enjoyed watching you. We kind of found you right around COVID time, prior to COVID time, when everyone was kind of stuck inside. And we watched the shit out of your guys' turkey hunting videos that spring. Especially the beatdowns, and we just loved it. And it's kind of evolved from there. Like, we make sure to keep up with your guys' stuff. You don't church it up. You're relatable. Like I talked about, a lot of YouTube channels these days. I almost turn off some of the channels when I'm watching the productions, and they just start to get into the whole super PC, and it kind of bothers me a little bit, because that's not the way hunting is. And that's not the way, at least that's not the way we hunt.
Yeah, I hate it when people are faking it, because you can obviously tell when these people are really faking it. Like Caleb said, churching it up just for the TV aspect of things.
Yep, absolutely.
We do the same thing you guys do. We kind of try to keep it real life as much as we can. Obviously, YouTube has some constraints on that, but...
Yeah, I've had to start putting black and white video in at times, because they don't like blood at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fine line there for sure. I am not an editor, so I don't have to deal with that. But I know Mike and Scott and Ross; those guys are constantly editing stuff. And yeah, like you guys mentioned, we try to keep it as relatable as possible. We're not, we're regular people, just that love going to deer camp and love sitting in a tree and having fun and drinking beer afterwards. And I know that the hunting community is loaded with people just like us that can relate to that. So it's like, be yourself, and the right people will watch it. So that's kind of what we always thought from day one. So,
do you guys ever have any problems with your videos getting demonetized or anything like that?
I don't think so. Mike would be better at answering that question. We've had, if we try to run ads or boost posts or anything like that on social, once in a while we'll get some kickback. With weapons or blood or gore, stuff like that. But as far as the videos go, I don't remember Mike ever complaining about that.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
If you have a bunch of videos like lined up to release, every week, and then one of them gets axed, that's going to kind of ruin the whole series you have going on. And with a situation like you guys, you're doing it for a living, it kind of makes a big deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I don't know if there's something that he runs them through before they actually post, that he can figure that stuff out ahead of time to kind of save that step. I'm not 100%. But I don't think, knock on wood, we haven't ran into that issue yet, I don't think.
Yeah, with our channel, the problem is we release so many videos that we build up good graces with the YouTube community, the admins there. So our videos are automatically monetized when I upload them. They take your word for it. The problem is, come December, every year, it never fails, one of them will get flagged by somebody who's watching it hours after it's already been, made live. Because usually we'll upload our videos and they'll sit for a week or two in the queue until it's time for them to go up. Yep. And while someone's watching, someone will flag it, and then YouTube will pull the monetization in like day 2 or 3. And you can do some reviews on stuff. You can edit the video in YouTube to kind of take some stuff out, but the damage is done if that happens, which kind of sucks. But it's the game you got to play.
Unfortunately, I think everybody's dealing with that crap right now.
Yeah, and it got better. So it got worse for a while there. I know there was some of the bigger channels were having some problems, and then they kind of pulled back, and things have gotten a little bit better. We haven't had any problems for a while. We actually just did a kill shot compilation video, kind of like you guys just released, and they never had a problem with this. So you can shoot 82 deer apparently on film, and as long as you don't show them laying on the ground dead, you're fine.
That's the biggest. The biggest thing we noticed is when we're tracking them, and then when you initially walk up to them, when they're covered in blood and there's blood everywhere, that seems to be the issue. And then it really gets hammered if you do that with guns in the same scene. If you have guns in the same scene, they lose their minds.
Yeah, we use the AR platform Bushmaster 450s and 350 Legends here a lot, and The YouTube community doesn't like that scary looking gun, even though it's perfectly legal.
Yeah.
I guess just to kind of break the ice, keep going. Where are you guys at with your season right now? I saw some of your semi-lives. You're putting in food plots. You're hitting the minerals. You got a bunch. You got new states you're adding to your list to hunt. I saw Oklahoma's on there now.
Yep. Yeah, we're getting ready for season. We'll kick it off in North Dakota. As usual, this will be our, I think, 12th year going up there. Mike and I, we've since started bringing more guys with us, but we'll start there, and then it gets kind of crazy after that. I'll be in Iowa, and then Drew tag in Kansas this year, so I've got that on the plans. Might try the early muzzleloader in Iowa this year if I can get the right weather to hit. It's one of those deals where I can make that decision last minute and hope there's tags to buy left. Otherwise, if I don't get one, I'll just use my gun tag later in the season, late muzzleloader or one of the shotgun seasons. And then might dabble in some urban hunting this year in the city that I'm living in.
Really?
Mike did an urban hunt in a city near him last year, and it kind of works like almost like an earn a buck. You got to shoot a minimum of 3 does the year prior to be eligible for a buck tag the next year. And the more does you shoot, the higher chance you got. So I think last year Mike went and shot 5 or 6 of them to make sure he got a buck tag, and sure enough, he did get one. So he'll be able to shoot 2 bucks in Iowa with his bow and another buck in Iowa with his gun. So
Wow.
I know he's excited about that. Yeah, I mean, we got other guys that a couple of the East Siders are coming to Iowa. They drew Iowa tags this year. I think we got one guy going out to it's either Montana or Wyoming on an elk hunt. I believe that's archery. But other than that, just whitetails. Nothing too crazy aside from that one elk hunt. I think it's mostly whitetails for the fall.
Yeah, I had that actually written down to get into a little bit later. Your guys' content is mostly whitetails and turkey, but I know Mike likes to do his bear hunting in Wisconsin, right? Kind of back to where you guys used to be based out of Wisconsin, and you've switched to Iowa over the years.
Yeah, Mike and I, we both grew up in Wisconsin, and then I moved to Iowa in 2013 just to become a resident and get a deer tag. And then Mike moved down probably close to 5 years ago now. So we're both in Iowa. We hired on Ross Weeks. He was one of our interns last year, and so he's living in Iowa now. And then we have 2 interns that live in the same house as Ross. So they're interns with us just long enough that they gain residency and can hunt here in the fall. So they'll be hunting Iowa as well. But yeah, to answer the question about bears, we used to hunt them in Wisconsin and also in Minnesota. Wisconsin, in order to hunt a unit where there's a good population of bears, takes anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
Oh.
So that's I'm sitting on I think 6 points right now. So that's something we'll always be putting in for. Minnesota, you can get it I think around 3 or 4 points. You can draw a tag in Minnesota. But man, bear hunting's fun. It's just one of those things like it's whitetail season's open by that point in North Dakota, and I have a hard time sitting over a bear bait when I could be chasing whitetails.
Yeah, you could be stuck there for 2 weeks during, prime whitetail season.
You guys got to try the Western spring bear hunting.
I did. I tried. Where the hell did I go? Idaho. I hunted out by Riggins, Idaho, two or three. Yeah, it must have been 2 springs ago. And it was a tough hunt. I went with an outfitter. We kind of had shitty weather, and it wasn't really a great hunt. But
see, we hear a lot of these stories where people have gone, and we just haven't seen it online because of the experience they had. It was shitty, or they didn't see any bears, or can't make a film when you don't see any bears.
Well, that was just it. We hunted for 4 or 5 days and never seen a bear, so we didn't have anything to show. We had a lot of sweet B-roll of riding horses up and down a mountain.
We made an hour-long video about that.
Yeah. So the outfitter was like, "Are you guys gonna make an episode out of this or what?" And I'm like, "No, we're not. We don't have anything to show."
We got lucky because we went last year. So our group's been spring bear hunting in Montana 3 years now. The first year Isaac went out with our buddy Jay, one of the older guys in the group, and they saw, how many bears do you think you saw?
We saw a bear every day. We saw 9 bears.
9
total.
bears, bear every day. Isaac got one, Jay missed one, and it was like the most fun hunt they've ever had. So we went back last year. I joined them, those two, and I joined them. We went back to the same exact area, same time of year. We spent 16 days hunting. We saw one bear on the very first day walking down the trail, and that was it. We saw 2 dead ones on the side of the road.
Jeez.
One of them was in Minnesota.
Yeah, and one of them was actually in Minnesota. It was kind of wild. And then, but we made a film, or we had everything filmed for this film. You know, we were there for 16 days. We were running multiple cameras, the whole 9 yards, trying to put this beautiful bear film together, and ended up getting nothing. But we got lucky because Jay went back in the fall elk hunting and stumbled across a bear while he was walking with his bow, and was able to kill a bear with his bow in the fall to kind of save the film. He got lucky with that. And then he went out this spring and also saw no bears again. So our area that we've been going, for some reason, must not be holding the amount of bears that it was for some reason 3 years ago, because it's been scarce.
I think it's just when you're hunting predators, it's either hot or it's not. If you're not in them, then you're going to go a long time without seeing one.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
And you guys said you got an elk hunt coming up. You've dabbled a little bit on the channel with some elk hunting, right? But not really a ton of, bugle and bow hunting elk type stuff, I've noticed.
Yeah, Mike and I went to Colorado, I don't remember, a few years ago, 4 maybe. Him and his cousin not Drew, I think they were over-the-counter tags at that time. And I just went to film it. And we hunted 11 or 12 days. His cousin ended up shooting a nice 6x5, I think it was, or a 7x6. I can't remember. It was a pretty nice bull, especially on public land.
Yeah.
He killed it on day 2, and then reality set in, and we got our ass kicked the rest of the trip. But none of us had ever been elk hunting. Like, Mike and I had never been. I think his cousin might have been once or twice in Idaho or something. But that bull came he shot him at 12 yards, came in bugling.
Oh,
but it was
awesome.
one of those deals that as a videographer, my job is to film elk, and I got like 2 seconds because we were hunting dark timber, and we didn't see him until 2 seconds before he shot him. Like, he literally stepped out of the dark timber, took the arrow, and disappeared back into the dark timber.
And that's the only elk footage you got the whole time?
Yeah. Yep. We heard bugling, I think, maybe 2 or 3 days of the entire trip, and we seen that elk. And then it was 3 or 4 days later, after we killed that bull, we went back up into the same area and got on another one. But it was so dark in there. We tried sneaking in on this bull, and he was bugling good, and he had a huge herd of cows. We don't know how many, but it sounded like there had to have been at least 20 of them. And you could just smell this bull. He was just rutted up, and he stopped answering our call, like the elk call or the cow calls or whatever. But he would, every time that we would bugle, he would bugle back. So what we ended up doing was we left Mike's cousin. He was tagged out. We left him high up on the mountain, and we just told him every 15 or 20 minutes, rip a bugle, and we'll just kind of keep inching in closer, because he was very responsive to the bugle, but he wouldn't move. And then we just kind of slipped in. We got to about 40, but you could barely just catch like antler tips and stuff. It was so thick in there. We would have had to probably get it inside 20 yards to even get an arrow through any sort of chance at it hitting him. But the wind swirled, he was gone, and that was the last opportunity that we had.
Damn.
It kind of sounds like the way your entire elk hunting career has gone.
Yeah, my elk hunting career is I can't call for shit. Kind of like turkey hunting. So I put myself in a place to ambush these elk, and then that works sometimes, doesn't work other times. Last year I got a shot at one at 72 yards, way on top of a mountain, 40-mile-an-hour winds, and something happened where I shot right under him. Shot broke good, arrow sailed right under him. And then that was my elk season last year pretty much summed up.
Yeah. I didn't really. Everyone said if you like chasing turkeys, you're gonna fall in love with elk hunting, and I didn't get that. Like,
no, I don't.
I know Mike and his cousin, they're kind of hooked on it, but I am not. Like, after that hunt, it was so brutal. I'm a whitetail guy. I like to walk 3, 4, maybe 500 yards, climb a tree stand, and then walk out. Like, to climb, 2,500 to 4,500 feet in elevation every day, to not even hear elk or smell elk or see anything. It's like,
Yeah,
man, I'd
that's
rather
tough.
hunt whitetails.
The whole thermals and wind and all that crap with elk is what makes it super tough. 'Cause it's like hunting a turkey that can smell you, and they
Oh, yeah.
only move with the thermal. So the only way to get in front of them is to perfectly place yourself on the side of a mountain, and
Yeah.
it's tough, real tough.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've got a lot of respect for the people that consistently kill elk. We got lucky, and I'll be the first one to admit that.
I know to change the subject a little bit, you talked about your interns and stuff moving to Iowa and getting residency. How does the tag system work there? Because I've seen multiple times where people can get 2 tags, and now you're talking about getting a 3rd buck tag in Iowa just from being resident, and then that's a special hunt that he gets the extra tag on.
Yep. So if you're a resident in Iowa, you get an archery tag and you get a firearm tag. The archery tag is good from October 1st. They close the archery season during the 2 shotguns. So there's an archery season, an early muzzleloader, a shotgun 1, shotgun 2, and a late muzzleloader. So your archery is only good for archery, but your gun tag's good for one of those 4: early muzz, shotgun 1, shotgun 2, or late muzz. So if I buy the early muzzleloader tag, I'm done for the year whether I fill it or not. If I do the late muzzleloader, like, I just can't hunt near the other ones. But then you can start. You can bow hunt during the late muzzleloader and during the early muzzleloader also.
So with your
But that
archery
other,
tag, you can still hunt those seasons.
yeah, yep. But like I was saying with Mike getting a potential 3rd tag, he started hunting in an urban unit, which must have its own rules entirely. He did like the earn a buck last year. Shot I think 5 does, and then this year he gets another statewide. Well, not a statewide. He's got to fill it in that urban wherever those boundary lines are.
So do you notice, like when you're hunting in Iowa, we kind of run into the problem here in Ohio, and we've talked about it multiple times, where there's not enough quality mature bucks to go around for the amount of hunters. Now you're adding another tag onto that. Is there just that many few hunters and that many more deer in Iowa, or have you noticed?
No, in my opinion, there's no shortage. I've never hunted a state like Iowa when it comes to the number of mature deer. Even running trail cameras and stuff since I've moved here, like, I've never hunted another state where I've had bucks that I can confidently say are 5+ years old, and I mean numerous bucks that hit that age of maturity. It's unbelievable.
I guess that's why you moved to Iowa.
Yeah, so
I
like,
should move to Iowa because we got nothing like that.
like where I'm sitting right now, we're sitting on our family farm on property that we own. It's 126 acres. I know within 1 mile of here, there's probably, if you do a mile in all directions from where we're sitting right here, there's probably 150 guys hunting. I mean, we are stacked up like cordwood here. I could text 20 guys right now that are kind of watching the same deer that we're getting ready to start watching. Yeah, there's a lot of toe stepping. A lot of dudes are hunting like 20 acres, 30 acres.
Yeah,
you really can't even go out and get permission anywhere, because if you do, you're going to piss off 2 guys and then step on the toes of a 3rd, and it's going to create. It gets real. For being a bunch of men, it gets real touchy around here.
Oh yeah,
October, November, December, deer hunting rules the roost. But it's great though, because we live in the land of giant bucks here in Ohio. I mean, last year there was, I don't know, 6 bucks killed over 200 inches within a couple hours of here, just in all directions. I mean, there is giant bucks here in Ohio, but there's just not enough to go around for everybody to get one. So it's kind of a rat race every season to try and kill your mature buck,
Yeah, gosh, if we did 2 tags, we'd really be struggling.
Oh. Yeah, so Ohio is completely different than what you said there with Iowa. I mean, we get 1 buck tag. You can use any gun, any weapon throughout the seasons that are open from September to February. And however you do it, if you kill your buck, you're done for the year.
Yep.
And they've kind of actually started limiting the does we can kill, which I don't like.
Yeah, it was up to 6. Now it's down to just 2 here.
Yeah, our county, you can kill 3 does in our county or 2 does and a buck.
Yeah, so 3 total.
And we have no shortage of deer. I don't know why the state's playing the game they are. There are some areas that had EHD, but they're not close to here. And then there's some areas that are struggling a little bit with population, but I mean, we go out in the evenings, especially in October, and we'll see 30 deer sit like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe one mature buck. The rest are does and young bucks. So there's no shortage, but Ohio's been real weird with their regulations over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
I can relate to the small parcel and guys stacked up around you. That's what I grew up in Wisconsin. It sounds very, very similar. And it stressed me out. That's why I left. my family still owns ground in Wisconsin, and I don't even hunt it because it just.
It's funny. Every year we shed hunt. We walk the property line, and we'll walk past 15 stands, blinds, corn piles, all the shit that you can see from the property line. There's that many people hunting that close.
We have, what is it, 16? I think I counted right. There's 16. There's 16 or 26 properties that touch ours.
The 16 different parcels that touch our 120 acres.
Like, because we got a big rectangle, and then there's all the other ones that come in and touch. Guys will have 5 acres that's only 200 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they got a doghouse blind for rainy days. Their spy point trail camera or tacticam trail camera in their corn pile, and a double ladder stand for days that it ain't rainy. And more power to them for hunting and stuff. But we get real invested with these deer, and then some guy with a Marlboro and Carhartts on shoots it with an open sight 12 gauge on the first day of gun season.
Just the other day, I talked to someone that we had never met, and he hunts right next to where I hunt, and I was talking to him at the fair, and he sent me a picture of one of my shooters, and I'm like, they killed it last year, and I'm like, well,
mark that one off the list.
He's dead, so he never showed back up after gun season, and he shot him. So
now you know.
Yeah, that's just kind of the way it goes. But
so curiosity's sake, obviously say where you're at in Iowa, but do you guys and the neighbors contact each other about deer? Do you cross them off the hit list if you know your neighbor shot them, or does everybody keep big secrets out there?
Yeah, so I've got a handful of different permission pieces in different parts of the state, and there's a couple of the farms that I hunt that I talk to the neighbors just because I met them before, but there's other farms that I hunt that I've never, in the last 10 or 11 years, I've never even met them or talked to them. There's a few that you can find online via hunting channels and stuff like that that don't even know that I'm hunting near them. But
are they going to be mad if they did know?
I doubt it. I mean, who am I to some of those people? But I talk to the neighbors that I know, but there's definitely spots where I have no idea, like what the neighbors are killing. I can tell you this: in the first however many years of hunting in Iowa, and nobody believed me on this until they've come and hunt with me, but during the gun seasons, in 12 years now or 11 years now, I've heard when I'm hunting these private land pieces, I've heard less than 10 gunshots in 10 years during the gun.
Oh my God!
We hear more than 10
I hear
shots
10 before opening light.
Before legal light, you hear more than 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've seen that in Wisconsin numerous times. That's what I used to do on opening day, was just count gunshots. I didn't even.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't counting the deer I seen because it wasn't very many, but I'd count the gunshots all day.
Monday and Saturday are good for 100 plus.
Yeah,
you're in the stand all day. It's 100 plus. Tuesday through Friday it slows down, and then Sunday everyone's deer driving. So the shots are in groups. Then you'll have silence for a while, and then you hear 10 shots, and it's a session, and then. Yeah, that's wild. Dang,
it's wild. So it just must be bigger pieces, and so are people not living on their tracts of land that they're hunting out there? Everyone here, they're hunting in their backyard, basically.
Yeah, I would say the majority of the farms that I've got permission on, the neighbors and stuff are not living on the pieces, which makes a huge difference. But I think the landowners that are also owning land around where I'm hunting, they own more than just that land. That's
Yeah.
So they might hunt that property 1 year if they're after something big, but then they might not hunt it for 2 or 3 because they're chasing something bigger elsewhere. I don't know.
There's not very many large landowners here.
We only have one in our area that I can think of.
Yeah, there's maybe 3 or 4 people that own more than 200 acres. The rest is all small. Yep. 20 years ago it wasn't that way. The legacy farm thing was still huge around here, but we've been encroached on. We're an hour south of Cleveland, so we're kind of slowly becoming suburb. Our township is still very rural compared to the rest of our county. We're on the outskirts of it, but every big farm's been lotted off, and the few that remain, they're about to be, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
or they get hunted by like 15 people.
Yeah, or there's
that's
just
the crazy
basically
thing.
public land. But
we're slowly becoming the suburbs here. In the next 20 years, we will be the suburbs, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of Cleveland, you guys actually have a baseball team this year.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, we
it's just a bunch of young kids playing good.
The problem is, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I love playoff baseball. So I keep track of the Indians. They put on at work and stuff. So it's
can't say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're still the Indians.
They'll always be.
Yeah.
So how is that from an outsider's standpoint? You guys still call them the Indians too, or is it the Guardians?
That's what I refer to them as.
That's what everybody still calls them, the Indians here. So
I just know that we're going to run up against New York in the playoffs, and Aaron Judge is going to hit 6 home runs, and that'll be that. I just don't think we have the depth and experience to pull it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
football season's more important for us, and I'm actually a Packers fan, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been a Packers fan since day one. It's just the way it's been. The Browns weren't around when I was a kid. Everyone always asked me that. Well, how come you're a Packers fan? Well, Cleveland Browns legitimately did not exist. So Brett Favre was the coolest person on planet Earth back then, and that's just the way it's been.
Yeah, we've been spoiled with good quarterbacks for a long time.
Oh yeah, trust me. This year's gonna be good too. I'm a Jordan Love believer, so.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be good.
When it comes to our group, just to kind of backpedal, just a touch on the knowing the neighbors thing. It's 50-50 with our group. I'm more of a social person, so I make an effort to meet all the neighbors if I can. I've developed some friendships with our neighbors. We've had some good ones, some bad ones. I kind of try to keep a pulse on the neighborhood. But we got other guys in our group that absolutely want nothing to do with knowing their neighbor. It's a don't know, don't tell, don't ask type of situation. So it just depends on – a lot of it depends on the quality of the deer that year too. If we're chasing a 150 plus 200-inch deer or something like that, lips get sealed pretty quick.
Yep.
We still have that potential around here. And I actually want to backtrack just a little bit more. We kind of touched on it briefly with the tags, but your guys' internship program. So a lot of hunting channels are going that route. I know, you hear guys like THP and stuff are always spotting out their interns, and Midwest Whitetail has kind of been – they were kind of the rubric on how to start this, and they've had hundreds of interns that have gone on to do all kinds of stuff. You guys started running them, probably 2-3 years ago, I'd want to say?
Last year was our first year doing the internship.
So this will be second full year?
Yep.
And how's that worked out for you guys?
Awesome. We so Mike is pretty good buddies with Josh Sparks over at Midwest Whitetail.
Okay. And he kind of runs that now, right? Like the social part of it.
For sure. And Josh is the one that kind of talked us into doing it, saying how good of an opportunity it is, not only for us to bring them in, but for them, and they're just to get their feet wet in the industry and potentially put them with somebody down the road. It was awesome. We had 2 guys last year. One of them was from Michigan, one from Wisconsin. We ended up hiring one of them on full time when the internship program ended.
Cool.
And then this year we brought in 2 more guys in June, and they're both from Wisconsin, and they're doing just a kick-ass job. So it's been great for us.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, one of them shot a pretty good buck last year, kind of early, right? Like a good, like almost. It was public land too, right?
Yeah, he shot. It was in the 170s.
Damn.
Like 171. That's Ross. He was the one that we ended up hiring on. He killed that deer right after Thanksgiving, right before gun season. So I think it was like the 27th or 28th of November, and that was on public land.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many employees are you guys up to now, if you don't mind me asking that kind of stuff?
It's just me and Mike are the owners. Ross is an employee, and then we have Scott Spitzley, who we outsource a bunch of editing work for. He's out of Michigan. So there's 3 of us full time, and then we do some outsourcing for editing projects and stuff like that.
And then how many? So with 3 full time guys, how many guys are in your group total?
I think we're sitting around 14 guys producing the show. Those guys are working 40, 50 hours a week at their jobs, and like a lot of people saving their vacation for hunting season. And we've got. I would say that we've got the best crew of guys that we've had in since we started this thing right now. We've stole a handful of guys from Midwest Whitetail over the years, and just guys that are passionate about what we're trying to do as far as quality and being relatable, and those they're all guys that you could sit down in deer camp with and be around too and have fun and stuff like that, and that's important to us. Like, we want everybody that's a part of this thing to be a great person at the end of the day.
Yeah, they want to be your kind of people. We're lucky since we're doing this only as a hobby and for fun. Our group is our friends that we've had forever. I mean, we've known these guys for
since we were
10,
kids.
15, 20, 30 years, some of them.
Yeah.
And it works out good. We're us three plus the brother that's not here, Ethan, and our buddy Matt are the only guys that really film full time, take a camera with us on every hunt. There's about 6 to 8 other guys that we hunt with, and we will film them if the opportunity arises. Sometimes they'll take GoPros and do that kind of thing, but it's kind of hard to get those other guys with the way they hunt with their lives. Like you said, they're working their full-time jobs too and family, to get them to buy the camera equipment and dedicate themselves to filming. And I don't blame them either, because it's a lot. Self-filming is a lot.
Is. Oh yeah. We it's a lot of dedication for sure. Like, you have to commit to it and you have to be serious about it, like, and not just 1 year. Like, it's just an ongoing thing. It's with what we're trying to do, with how we're trying to tell the stories every year, it's like, it ain't just hunting season. Like, it's everything that goes into the off season preparation and all that stuff, and the guys that we have now understand it and do a great job of it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine filming somebody all year round, and you have to drive 45 minutes and meet up with them every day to go out and sit with them that's got to be something.
Yeah. That's kind of how we're kind of split up. I'm kind of in my own little area now, but like, when I go down south and hunt some of the stuff that I hunt, like, I'll pick up, whether it's an intern or now Ross or somebody, but we don't tolerate self-filming. Just, it kind of defeats everything that we're trying to accomplish on our end. But like in Wisconsin, the East Siders, if you follow the show, there's 3 of those guys, and we actually just added another one so they don't have an odd man out. Like, those guys are all within 15 to 20 minutes of each other, so they kind of hunt and film together all season long. A couple other guys that live in the same town in Wisconsin, a couple other guys up in Wisconsin in a different area. We got 2 brothers down in Missouri that hunt and film each other exclusively. So it's kind of, everybody that's on our crew almost has like a designated person that they're almost like a partner,
pretty much partners out there.
Yeah, for sure. So we try to eliminate any of the potential headaches that come with being stranded during late October, early November. Like, we try to have that all figured out and covered.
Yeah, we've always talked about trying to do more of actual filming, double setups, because we've been self-filming for the most part for the last forever. However long we've been doing this, 14, 15 years now. Our channel started in 2009. It's mostly been self-filming unless we're filming one of our buddies. But this year we might make an effort to do the double setups, because it makes a huge difference.
Such a higher quality product.
Huge. Oh yeah. Yeah,
especially when it's crunch time and coming down to the shot. When you're self-filming, to have a great self-film, it's all on the deer. The deer has to cooperate perfectly in order for you to capture. Because if the deer does normal deer stuff, you're not going to be able to do all the movement required and get the shot in frame, in focus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough, but we're not relying on it for our job, so thankfully we can cut some corners here and there. We've had there's plenty of deer on the wall that we've killed that we just missed the kill shot on, because
most of them.
Not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah.
It's tough. Self-filming is not easy.
Oh, it's tough. I've gotten lucky. I've been able to kill 3 or 4 good bucks self-filming, but I've also missed 3 or 4 shot opportunities and then missed 3 or 4 deer because I was self-filming. So there's the downside to it too, unfortunately. And you're stuck with a camcorder mostly when you're self-filming, which camcorders are great if the lighting's good. But dark timber, early morning, late at night, the camcorders really start to lack.
And they don't really give you the look that you're wanting to get as well.
And then you're self-filming and it's dark and you can barely see anything when the kill shot happens. That happens to us a lot, actually.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
We've started using lenses and getting a little technical, but that'll bore the audience. So let's talk about Dakota.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dakota is your guys', I would say it's your like staple deer camp in your guys' videos. You've killed, how many bucks have you guys killed up there now?
Oh, since we started hunting up there, I can't remember exactly, but we're in the 40s.
Wow. Now, you guys go there early season and late season? Is that how you usually do it?
Typically, we start the season there and we end the season there. We'll usually, I mean, we've tried hunting it other times of the year, October, late October. I've never hunted it in November, I don't think. But we've had our best luck early and late. It's just not one of those states where we want to leave Iowa or Kansas or Illinois to go hunt during the rut. Like, there's good deer up there, and we've killed some nice deer up there. It's just not set up to, you're not going to leave Iowa on November 5th to go hunt North Dakota. You know what I mean?
It
So it's
seems
one of those
like
things.
it seems like all the good trophy. I've watched a lot of the Dakota videos, and you got your typical 8 and 10 pointers, and your 10 pointers will go 130 to I think Mike killed it close to 150 or 150 up there just recently, didn't he? A good one.
Mike shot the biggest one we've ever killed up there last year. I wasn't there when he taped it, but I think they said it was like 164 or 165 or something. That was the biggest buck we've killed up there.
Is that out of the norm for up there? Like, that's an exceptional buck?
Yeah. Out of the 40-some that we've killed up there, we've got 2 that cracked 160. I shot one that was 160 on the nose, and then Mike shot that one that was 164-ish. And then we've had a couple in the 150, like low 150s, but the majority of the deer we're shooting are in that 125 to 135 range, I would say.
Yeah, that's very similar to, which is the inspiration for the hat you're wearing. Our deer camp that we go to in West Virginia is the same way. Lots of bucks. I mean, that camp was going. We've been going about 10 years. The camp is now 33 years old, and it's the same way. A lot of, they leave Ohio Thanksgiving week and go down there. A lot of bucks get killed that are small. We got actually have the entire box of antlers from the last 10 years sitting over there. They all fit in one box. There's a lot of smaller deer killed, but there is potential down there. I killed a 130 class 10 a few years ago, and every year on trail camera we got a couple bucks that'll push 140s. We've actually had one buck that's been on camera now 4 years straight, and we haven't been down there yet this year, so if he's there again, it'll be year 5. Beautiful, typical, probably mid-150s 10-point. So there are good deer just where we're at in West Virginia. It is true hill country. It's not the reclaimed coal mine stuff. It's the true Appalachian, straight up and down. Yeah. I mean, 400 or 500 feet of elevation gain, crazy West Virginia. We love it. And it's kind of the same thing. We go down there for maybe a total of 7-8 days during the season because it's kind of hard to leave Ohio and go to West Virginia. But we love the camp atmosphere down there.
We don't go down there to kill big deer. We go down there to have fun with our buddies.
And it's the videos that always end up doing the best, too, which is kind of cool. Yeah. We're not even killing big deer. We're just drinking beer and hanging out in the mountain, doing all that stuff. And people love it, And we love doing it, too. It's just
hell yeah.
Some people get weird with us when they're like, you guys got 150-inch deer on camera and you're leaving to go to West Virginia for a week? It's like, yeah, it's fun, though. It's worth it. I love it. Yeah. I'm not going to spend the whole season down there, just, a week at a time.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's North Dakota for us. We just love hunting there. I mean, we've had great success there. But it's just the area that we go to is just so peaceful. Like, if we don't want to go to town for a week, we don't have to see people the entire time we're there, which is pretty kick-ass. There's not too many places across the country that you can say that. And, like, to go outside of camp at night and see all the stars in the sky, like, it's black. Like, it's just something that you can't describe to people. And it sounds like you guys have something very similar going on in West Virginia, and it's something that you hold near and dear to your heart and special place.
We absolutely love it. The Gore family is my buddy who owns it, and they've been very good to us. We love it. We actually just today, you're going to laugh at this. So a couple of us started having children. We got kids and stuff now. So my buddy who goes down there today, he actually bought a Starlink. The Elon Musk internet, because there's no service down there whatsoever.
So for the first time at deer camp, we'll have self-service internet.
We'll actually be able to access the internet for the first time in the history of deer camp. I mean, there's nothing down there. It's It's the middle of nowhere.
The old guys are not going to like it.
They don't have to know.
I
mean, they're old
they don't
guys.
have to connect to it.
I don't even think they have smartphones, so it doesn't even matter, But we will be able to watch football. That's the cool thing. So you go down there during Thanksgiving week, and we lose a lot of football.
Yeah, we miss a really important week of football down there.
Yeah, so now we'll be able to stream some football games, which is kind of cool. But our cabin's similar to your guys'. Ours is a little bit bigger. It's a 2-story, probably. I mean, it's probably 700-800 square feet.
Yeah, I would
but
say.
no plumbing. We have like a RV camper pump for the sink, and we bring water just to dump in a tank or pump water from a nasty creek to do the dishes with. But we got the outhouse game going on. There's no showers for a week, and I love it.
Yep.
That's my element
Ours
right there.
Our main level is, I think it's 20 by 10 or 18 by 11 or something like that. So it's not very big.
No.
It's one room about the size of a small kitchen, and then we got a loft upstairs with 4 twin-sized beds up there, and then the landowners have a shop that they let us sleep in if we have overflow, or if the weather's nice, we'll just throw tents outside. But it's not a very big place, but it serves its purpose, and it's one of our favorite places.
We actually have guys that come down to ours that don't even hunt. They just like to come down because we'll cook. We go down Friday. Season doesn't open till Monday, so we got Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday to just truly fuck off at a deer camp without cell phones, no one around, like literal no rules. We're an hour from the casino if we want to go. I mean, it's a good time. So we got guys that come down, just cook and eat and hang out and shoot guns. They don't even hunt deer, and then they leave Monday. They either leave Sunday night or Monday morning, and then us deer hunters will spend the week hunting. And we're usually actually back home by Thursday. By Thanksgiving, we end up coming home.
Yeah, we're always home because most of us are usually working on the holiday or working the day after.
But it's a good week, and we, you guys got your traditions. We got our traditions. I know you guys slam your broadheads into the board. We don't kill a lot of deer with bows down there. We have killed some, killed some bucks down there with bows, but most of the time we're down there during their firearm season. It's hard to bow hunt them hills. Tough.
Yeah, I believe that for sure.
We do in the morning on the first day. There's a deck of cards. There's like an old deck of cards, and
gotta be from the 80s probably.
Yeah, and all the numbers all correlate to just different sized deer. So we do a draw, and everyone draws the deer that they're going to kill that week, and it never usually equates.
I killed a spike once after drawing on the spike card.
I did not. I don't think I drew a 10-point when I killed the 10-point.
No, probably not.
No, but it's a good time. It's definitely
That's
a good
awesome.
time. What do you want to get into next, Isaac?
Anything else on your list? We were going to ask about the deer camp hat. How that's doing for you guys. I know you got one, the original on.
The OG, I don't know if you can see the sweat stains or not.
Yeah, Luke's got your guys' on, actually, the camo one.
Yeah, I seen that.
The 5-panel. That's the hat Luke's wearing. That's a damn good looking hat.
I get compliments all the time, and I'm like, I didn't even make it.
Yeah, so I guess the backstory to anyone listening, these guys brought me this hat at the Ohio show, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yep.
And they're like, hey, you want to wear this? And I'm like, yeah, it's a sweet-ass hat. So then I wore it, and then I just started getting countless people like, hey, where'd you get that hat? Where can we get one? And actually reached out to these guys, and they ended up selling me the design, and we put it on hats now, and it's doing really good. I mean, it's not to the point where, like, I don't think we need to start sharing money with you guys yet.
We're used to being poor, so I'm not worried about that.
I feel kind of guilty, but no, it's been doing really good, and I finally did find a guy. The original one that you're wearing there, the guy that made our hats, he didn't do the color schemes like this, the embroidery. He just did the patches. I found a guy that'll actually do exactly what you guys did here. I just have to figure out pricing and all that stuff, see if it makes sense, but. Yeah, no, they're kick-ass hats. We sell those. I mean, because a lot of people that come to our booth, at trade shows, don't even know what the breaking point is. So if they want to buy a hat for their, dad or whatever, they're not going to buy them a hat that says the breaking point, but they will buy them a hat that says deer camp.
Right, yeah.
And that's where it's done really well for us.
So we did the fair last week. It's like a 7-day thing with a booth.
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest hat we sold was a American flag bass, like a bass outline with American flag in it. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with anyone.
We just talked about today how you sell more hats that don't have your logo and name on them because.
Oh, for sure.
Like, who the hell wants Siman Brothers Outdoors? But
Exactly. No, we deal with the same thing. Like, there's that niche of people that know the breaking point and want to support the breaking point. But there's more people like if we were smart, we'd start selling Trump stuff. Like that's what sell at trade shows. But no, the deer camp's been good, and we can't thank you guys enough for.
Well, that was.
I'm glad it's because I love this hat, so I'm glad it's good.
Yeah. Back then, that was before we were taking the YouTube thing seriously a couple years ago, but that was before we started to do the podcast, and we really started to actually have real, a lot of real views, and I was just total fanboy with it. I'm like, those guys are down there. That's one of my favorite shows. I'm going to give him this hat. I know he's going to throw it in the back of his truck and never wear it, but maybe
that's what I do with most of the hats that people just throw at me, but not this one.
I'm like, maybe just one time he'll be like, I think I actually said, like, I don't care if you just wear it in one semi-live when you're dumping corn or something. Just wear the hat one time, but then you ended up killing a couple really good deer. You killed the one buck out of a barn with it, and now you're wearing it all the time, so. Yeah, things have progressed since then.
My girlfriend told me I need to get a new one because it's starting to stink.
I actually just washed. I have that exact one too, like the original brown and black. And I actually just washed it the other day because it was starting to get stained up. I hand wash them all so they don't shrink too much. But yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you.
For sure.
I'm glad you wore it to kill that deer.
You bet.
Oh, speaking of that, so your guys' season is about to drop or getting ready to drop, or you dropped the first episode?
7th, right? I think the 7th. Wednesday.
This week.
Yeah,
Wednesday. We'll be doing one a week until at some point in the fall. I think Mike starts kicking out 2 a week. But we're the 7th, so Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central is when we release them. Episode 1 will be this Wednesday, and then episode 2 next Wednesday, so on and so forth until I think we've got 14 or 15 episodes. But yeah, that's all coming out here very soon.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for that for sure.
Yeah, we just started our episodes of stuff this Sunday. Isaac just put his started his mule deer hunting stuff.
Yeah, first Western film came out.
So we're gonna do all September.
I seen that when I was flipping through YouTube. I still have to watch it. I'm terrible at watching hunting content. Like the one show that I do watch religiously is Midwest Whitetail because a lot of it's relatable as far as like timing and the deer movement and stuff like that. It's very cool to see what other people in the area are seeing.
You might see some of your deer on there if you're hunting.
Not so much with Midwest Whitetail, but a few other shows. But yeah, I did see when I was flipping through there to watch a Midwest Whitetail episode the other day. I seen your guys' thing pop up, and I marked it. I gotta go back and watch it yet.
Cool. I wish you would have been able to get the kill shot on film. Yeah, it's another self-filming Western hunting is like impossible.
It's so impossible.
It's so impossible, but they're able to get a good deer killed. Midwest Whitetail, I don't watch it as much now as I used to. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. After years have gone by with how busy life is now with work and family and all this stuff, I don't watch a ton of YouTube either. I have the certain shows, your guys's. I do tune into THP like in the fall. I still watch Chasing November. So when Midwest Whitetail does their heavily edited Chasing Novembers, I love those. But when I was younger and doing nothing but just watching hunting and doing all this kind of thing and living the life, Bill Winke, Midwest Whitetail, those glory years. I mean, I couldn't get enough of it. Every week you got to tune in to see what Bill's up to, and it was different back then than it feels like now.
Oh, for sure. He was the OG of streaming whitetail content.
Everything.
Sure.
I mean, the pipeline he created, the transitioning from having to be on TV to YouTube. He led the way for a lot of stuff, and his double G4 buck video is, stuff like that. Yeah. It's just everyone's seen it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Are you guys now? You used to be on like 7 different streaming devices. You were on like Canadian TV and stuff. I saw at one time. Are you still doing any of that, or is it just YouTube and the hunting apps?
Yeah, we were I think on 10 platforms was the most we were ever on at once. Now we've cut back. We're YouTube. We're still in Canada. Wild TV is the network up there, which is similar to like Sportsman's Channel or Outdoor Channel in the States.
Yeah.
Wild TV is that in Canada. We do really well up there. They have a digital platform up there too that we air on. I think it's called My Hunt Fix or something like that. And then we've got our own Roku channel, and then our stuff is also on Vimeo. But YouTube is definitely where we're pushing people.
It's always surprising to me, and I don't mean this in any form of disrespect whatsoever, but I feel like you guys should be one of the bigger hunting YouTube channels that there is. I mean, there's YouTube channels that are bigger than you guys that are just, they suck. They're just bullshit,
trash.
Literal trash TV, and they're huge. And I've always had a hard time understanding why some of the channels I like so much aren't massive. But
yeah, I think we screwed up. We were about 2 or 3 years late to YouTube.
Yeah.
We didn't get on that bandwagon when people could organically grow fast.
Yeah.
And now
those days are done.
Like we are earning every subscriber we have, which is good and bad. Like we compare ourselves to other shows on YouTube that are similar to us, that might have 200,000 or 300,000 subscribers. Their viewership and their retention is shit.
Yeah.
Like they might have a ton of subs, but are they valuable subs?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah, they're all from
our
shorts.
subs come to watch our content and they watch it to the end. Which when we can go to our partners and show them all those analytics, like that means more to the brands we're working with than it does to have 300,000 subs. Like,
and everyone fixates on subs and views, but none of that actually means shit. It's actual watch hours that mean something.
Yeah. Retention.
And that's something that the public doesn't see. That's something that
it's the retention and the demographics as well. If you have a bunch of teenagers as your subs that aren't buying anything, you're not that valuable to ads.
Yeah.
But when you have a bunch of middle-aged dudes that have money that buy things, it's a lot more important.
We have actually stopped. Luke was talking about how we did a booth at our county fair, and we weren't actually even trying to promote people to sub our channel because getting people to sub in that way, like you said, it's a cheap sub and it doesn't really matter for anything.
It doesn't
you want people to find your videos, like what they see, and then return. That's the key. So we kind of do our own thing. We have a lot of people that, kind of similar. We have a lot of people that will say, you guys are doing all this stuff and your videos only get a couple hundred views or a couple thousand views, or you only have this amount of subscribers. Why do you keep doing it? Well, for one, I love doing it. We've been doing it since 2009. I love this kind of stuff. For two, one day we're not going to be able to do this anymore. We're all firemen. Our bodies are going to break down. All our parents, their bodies are already broken down. They're not able to do the things we do now. But when that happens, we'll be able to watch what we did. We'll be able to see all the stuff we did. Yeah, our kids will be able to see all this stuff.
We upload hundreds of hours of video every year that we could watch when we're on our deathbeds for years.
We love everything about it, and it would be stressful to me if we were in your guys' situation. I have some friends that are that try to do this thing full time, and it would be very stressful to me to have to rely on this. Kudos to you guys for pulling it off and putting in the work, because I can't even imagine the amount of work you guys put in it, because I know what we put into it for what we get. You guys really got to be hammering away.
Yeah, it's something. People don't understand that. Like, no, it must. You guys probably hear it in some regard. Like, must be nice, and you have no idea what goes into it.
No, and we're just scratching the surface compared to a group like you guys. I mean, we put in an incredible amount of time, and I'm sure our wives are like, "Dude, what the fuck? These guys put in more time than anything in the world." But if you're an actual full-timer in this field, I can only imagine the amount of time you put in.
Yeah, when you break ours down to, what do you guys make per hour when you're doing this? It's in the cents, not in the dollars.
Not even cents.
And how many times have you woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, met up at the gas station with your buddy, got in your truck, drove for 5 hours just to literally, my wife makes fun of me for this, people make fun of us for this, just to hang a trail camera, couple tree stands maybe, grab some food, and then drive 5 hours back home. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I love doing it. I just love doing it.
Well, I drove to Oklahoma the other day, 8.5 hours, put out a couple cameras, turned around and drove home. Ate dinner and went to bed.
Our one brother just did it in Pennsylvania, and he forgot to turn his trail cameras on.
By himself.
That sucks.
We actually had to, we're hunting Kentucky early season this year. My brother that's not here, Ethan, the youngest one, he got permission piece in Kentucky, private land. It's like 200 some acres, beautiful piece of property. He got real close to killing a buck last year in Velvet. Kept up a relationship with the landowner, went down, killed a gobbler this spring on video. It was pretty cool. We ran cell cameras down there this summer. We don't have any stands hung yet. We just switched cell camera companies, so the cameras that are down there aren't activated anymore. It's about, what do you say? It's about 6 hours away, 5.5, 6 hours away.
5.5, 6.
So one of these days is going to be one of those 4 a.m., get up, drive 6 hours, swap out some cameras, hang a couple stands, shoot back here, because Kentucky opens the 7th.
You got a month.
I got 1 month.
So,
Yep.
And I want to get that stuff done before. I don't want to be hanging stands opening weekend. I want to get that stuff done.
Speaking of that, we are going to double film everyone on that, right?
Yeah, that trip is actually,
No
Kentucky's
self-filming.
not cheap. Kentucky's like, I think it's roughly $400 for a deer tag and a license.
I'm not buying mine. I'm
So
filming.
we're gonna have a bunch of guys come down and we're gonna actually double film that one to do it some justice, And we got some good deer on camera. It should be a good hunt.
Nice.
Should and will be are two different things, but
Yeah, you never know. Early season, pretty hit and miss. Kind of depends a lot on the weather.
yeah, yep. Well, Brennan, we've been on an hour. I don't want to keep you too much longer. We've pretty much exhausted everything I have written down here on my laptop. I enjoyed the podcast a lot.
Thanks for
actually.
coming on. I think it's an hour earlier where he is probably.
Yeah, it's probably 8 o'clock for you guys. It's 9-ish or somewhere around there. But
Yep. Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys asking me.
yeah, I'm sure, we'll let the season go through, and then maybe next year sometime when things are heating up again, maybe I'll try to get you on again.
And we'll probably see you at the show next year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you doing Ohio again?
Be there. Yeah, we're going to do Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin, I think, next year.
You're not doing the 10-day PA drawn-out, like, marathon show?
That was like, we just don't have the manpower. It was a great show. We did really well. But I was there for all 9 days, and I was exhausted by the end of it. And it was
12 hours from your house, huh?
It was definitely a rip. I can't remember how long. I think it was 14, maybe.
14.
We did. Yeah. I know Luke said we did that fair. We did our county fair this year. They've been starting to do more outdoor themed stuff, so we had a booth, and thank God it was air conditioned. But I was there the booth is open 3 to 7. I'd get there about an hour early. I was there every day, 6 straight days. And then I ended up staying and drinking beer with my friends in the campground until 1 in the morning. So it was a long fucking week at the fair. I mean, from 2 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning, 6 days straight, eating fair food and crushing beers just puts a toll on you. So I'm glad to kind of get back down. We kicked the idea of doing the Ohio show, but Luke wants to do it. He's got the merchandise side, but I just don't know if we would actually. I don't know if it would be fruitful for us. I mean, I know it would be fun, but I don't know if it'd be fruitful.
Yeah, that's the thing where it comes down to, like, are we going to make our money back? And how much stuff do we got to buy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just totally new to it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we struggled with early on is kind of, our goal has always been with trade shows, as long as we break even, we're winning, in my opinion, because we're marketing our name. We're getting our name to, different demographics, especially Ohio. People out that way, might not have heard of us. And you guys probably hadn't really heard of us until we met out there. I don't know.
Yeah, but COVID is what got us to know you guys. But, yeah, as soon as I saw you were on the docket to be there, I told these guys, like, we got to go down and meet these guys.
But, yeah, when we went to that PA show, like, it was almost instant, like, because we can see all that on YouTube, obviously, where our subs are and all that stuff. And we tapped a whole different market going out to PA. And we'll probably end up going back to that show at some point. But you just got to you almost have to have a couple groups and, like, swap out midweek because 9 days is.
That's insane. I couldn't imagine.
It's a grind.
We had a buddy that was in the Latitude booth, I think, for 9 days. The Latitude Outdoors booth. And I think he was getting paid to do it, though, so that probably made it a little easier
paid
for him.
like $7 an hour. Probably.
Yeah, whatever is outdoor.
No, going back to inventory, that's what we struggled with when we started. But the first year we did it, I think we only did like a show, maybe 2, and that kind of helped us gauge like how much stuff we needed.
Yeah.
And we've increased it a little bit each year, and then we figured out that if we have double the booth space, if we have the personnel to cover both ends of it, it's you sell, like, I didn't think it was gonna work that way, but if you have twice the booth, you sell twice the stuff, like almost instantly. It's crazy.
Yeah, when we were there both years, you guys' booth was always crowded, people coming up and
the giant pull tab.
Yeah.
And everyone
I think Ohio was actually our I don't want to say our worst show, but it was definitely, as far as bringing in money, it was our slowest one this year for sure.
Yeah, that show, unfortunately, that show is not what it used to be. It's getting better. So we've been going to that show for a long time, and it changed ownership not too long ago.
The variety since they changed the ownership kind of has sucked. It's a lot of outfitters, a lot of beef jerky. That's like what you get when you're walking around.
It's not the Iowa Classic or any of that stuff. It's nowhere near the kind of show that is. I wish it would be. And it'd be cool to push more groups and more companies that are designed for the whitetail hunter to be there. But it sucks. Like literally half the people there are just outfitters and selling doodads and, which... how fun is that?
Yeah, I hear you. We've had a good time out there. We'll definitely be back again next year for sure.
Yeah, cool. We'll be down to see you at some point, I'm sure, unless Luke talks us into having a booth. But
we'll see how the season goes and how we're feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Brandon, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been fun. We wish you guys the best of luck. I know you got some hunts coming up soon, and I hope it stops raining there. I hope we get some of your rain and.
You guys can have it. We got plenty.
We need it so bad. My fall food plots are just idle right now. I'm just waiting because there's no point in planting them until the time is right. But
for sure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Alrighty, this is Deer Shot Podcast. We are out.
Iowa now.
Yep.
How many guys are on your crew?
So there's 3 of us working full time, and then in total we got 15 guys field producing for us. A lot of the guys hold down 9 to 5 jobs. Like most people,